Let's get started. Quick introduction. We're going to help you or explain how the ING and the ICHP. Oh, you got it. Oh, nice.
I got you a beer.
You just asked. Thank you very much. Do your thing. Has anybody heard the slogan? Of course, maybe not. We're here to help explain how the ICHP is building a great support team and what we can do. A couple of ideas on how to build one and how to make a great team run.
Mine is not working.
You're not working anymore? Probably because of the tech. Ah, mine's working. Yeah. We didn't practice, so we're kind of like tag team.
We're doing freestyle this time. So
we're doing freestyle. He wanted to do a camp. What do you call it?
Campfire.
Campfire.
Yeah. So we want to talk to you guys about our ideas, but also the ideas you guys have. How can you make a support team at least happy? How can you make them experience? How can they learn new things? Nobody wants to be in support. It's the worst job ever. If you ask somebody, please join our support team, they will say, nah, I won't do it. But I can tell you, it's probably the most fun thing to do because you get interactions with lots of people. But we will explain in just a couple of minutes.
We also get to do building towers like that. So the agenda goes down who we are, what is support is a good question, what makes a good team, what experiences does a team have, what tools we have, and we have a couple of questions along the way. And if you have any questions, just shout them out. This is very interactive. So, I'm Dan, Hawaiian guy, moved to Germany because my wife said we're not living in Hawaii anymore, we have to live in Germany. So I live in Frankfurt. Rob?
And I'm Rob. I was born and raised in the Netherlands, still live there. And basically, I joined ING like 5 years ago. It's really nothing compared to him.
I've been almost 20 years from ING in Germany, so one of the old hats. ING, I hope we have some customers in the audience. Good. I hope we can make you.
I know he lives in the Netherlands. I already spoke to him.
Yeah,
So.
I talked to him he was at KubeCon last year. We share the Aloha spirit. So.
So we're quite an international company. We have departments and affiliations all over the world, including China, Australia. But we are mostly focused on Europe. That's from the Netherlands to Spain to Romania. And we're still growing. Our biggest there, we have multiple data centers located in the Netherlands. They are called IPC, ING Private Cloud. So we do everything on-prem.
So, the Tiger team itself is made up of different units. We're in the operations unit. We have security and governance. It's a bank, so you have to have governance and security. At least they tell us that. We also have a focus on the operations team, where we do support for our customers. Any questions that come up, we help them. We help the customers solve their problems and explain to the customers, or explain to management if there are any problems or issues that are going on. Of course, the platform services, they do most of the engineering and how to build the clusters. Next generation is for the future and what's going on in the next generations of Openshift and containers and everything along those lines. We have a programming too. We have 2 crack programmers in our teams that like to go off and develop things, and we let them have fun. For some of our clusters, we need storage. All the other clusters, to 80%, it was 80%, 90% of our clusters are stateless, but there are customers that need storage. So we have a dedicated team just for storage, and our architects and lead engineers keep us informed of what's going on and what's new and developing, and kind of the guidelines along what we need to do.
So in total, these are about 25 people. And we were running, like Dan said, the support team, and we are with 6 people in total. And we are all over the world. It's
yeah.
Basically, I'm the only Dutch guy. I work for a Dutch bank, but all my colleagues are abroad, everywhere. So it's always fun. You go in the morning, you go upstairs, work from home, you put on your headset, and you do exactly the same thing every day. It's boring.
We do have the advantage with follow the sun. So our support team, we can work in the mornings. One of the change boards that we're required to live with, they start at 5 o'clock in the morning. And our team, as being a core unit of the bank, has to be there and has to say, okay, is your cluster healthy for all the changes for today? So having somebody in India that can actually wake up at a normal time and take over those responsibilities is a big help.
There's a 4-hour difference, so
yeah,
they're happy with it.
Yeah. Okay, you want to take over the cluster?
So we have about 40 clusters, still growing slowly. These are all based on metal. So there are really 40 clusters on metal. So we have over 34,000 cores, 5,000 namespaces running on those. That includes DT and AMP. More than 1,000 teams. I think it's closely to 1,500 nowadays. And at any point of time, we run almost 80,000 pods on those clusters. And that includes about 60–70% of all API calls towards the bank go through these systems. And that's a massive amount.
And the tenants is just basically the different teams that are broken down, and or how would you, a tenant would be the departments that the teams work in.
Yeah, or countries in this case.
Or the countries, yeah. So. ICHP, what we do is we're there to help the developers and help the infrastructure run. So that they don't have to worry about the infrastructure, they don't have to worry about the governance, and they don't have to worry about any things. And we're running a multi-tenancy cluster, as you probably guessed. So that's ICHP in a nutshell. So,
yeah, the most important thing for our consumers is they don't need to worry about the risk part on infra level. We control basically the whole infrastructure. And that makes their life easier. It makes our lives a bit more difficult. But then again, we're serving 1,000 teams, and those 1,000 teams are happy that we do the risk part for them on infra level.
I think it was the Mercedes talked about the developers are there to develop. They're not there to run the infrastructure. And that's what we do, is we provide the infrastructure for them.
This is going to be a bit more fun. So now we're talking about how our clusters are set up. So all our clusters are air-gapped. So no internet access. We have no admin rights. We remove them. We have no access. SSH has been disabled. Everything is secured, so nobody can access it. And if somebody does, we get an emergency alert, and we need to reinstall a cluster even. So that's the governance. And we have users, of course, which is the most terrible part of the job.
I've been 20 years, 30 years in IT.
So basically, the question
it would be a lot easier without
what's
users.
left? If you have these things, what do we do? Well, we basically sit down and watch our screens. No, it's way more than that. So that's what we wanted to talk to you about.
How do we deal with the challenges? How do you change a cluster when you can't change a cluster? Or how do you change a namespace when you can't change a namespace? So we have to rely on the tools that have been developed and are allowed for us to use. Like we use a lot of pipelines and Argo CD, and a lot of the tools that you guys have heard about today are in our portfolio. But there are a couple of other ones that we had to develop ourselves, and we have to create, that they're not out of the box and not green fields. And that's one of the things that we like to pride ourselves on, is being innovative.
So basically what we have is what we call a model of all apps. Basically that's the configuration of a cluster. That's the only thing we can change, the MOA. It sounds really dumb, but it's a big mama. Let me put it nicely. Yeah. And basically, we change it, we push it, GitOps picks it up, Argo CD will basically finish up the cluster. We can add nodes, we can basically change underlying structures, but even upgrades, everything is done by GitOps.
Okay. Question is, what is support? Give me an answer. What do you call support? Anybody?
It's a difficult question. And I can tell you because if you ask a building
okay.
engineer, you get a different answer. So
Now you gotta speak up because we don't have any microphones. But what is support? Or do you have a question?
Potentially, those are either people or some AI systems nowadays which we try to reach out if we have a problem.
Anybody that's got a problem comes to you, and you want to help them. That's support. Yeah? Exactly.
but if I ask a building constructor, it's the pillar in your building. That's the support.
You're jumping ahead.
No, I'm not.
That's technical support, isn't it?
It may be. So the question is wrong. So the question should be.
That's right. I changed that, didn't I?
You changed that.
I changed that. It was supposed to be, what is customer support?
And what is technical support?
And what is technical support?
So we do
So
both.
there's a difference, right?
So we do both. We do both the technical support and the customer support. Customer support takes way more time than the technical support. But there is a really big difference between those two. So these are really the questions. So does anybody know what exactly customer support?
Well, that was what he said, right?
That's yours.
That's customer support.
But we also have technical support.
And what's technical support? You guys know it, of course. Just speak up. Nobody? What's technical support? What's your idea?
Like one example, maybe linking can be a technical support.
Code, yeah.
Okay.
If somebody's got a bug in their code, that's a technical support. Yeah,
No,
could be customer.
It could be
That's
customer.
on borderline.
Maybe, I don't know.
But I was thinking about what happens when a fire extinguisher goes off in your data center.
And you were laughing about it. It
hypothetical
happened 2
question.
weeks ago.
Yeah. We're still running, by the way. Nobody noticed. And there's totally differences on how to interact with your customer and how to react with react to these support tools. That's why we bring up the questions. Think about it in different ways. How you can react to a customer is not exactly how you react to if a backhoe pulls out your data center, your cables. You have to get different interaction. You have different tools, and you have different reactions to it. So, shit happens. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's not. Some of the things that we have lived in the last site, we get tons of incidences. I don't know if that's a lot, and compared to Google's probably got tons more, but around 700 incidences in a quarter, and a lot of changes. We have to document all of the changes, anything that we change on the cluster has to be documented and stuff. So we run probably more than 30. I was kind of surprised that we had the quarters, but yeah.
So these are not only incidents, these also include questions from our consumers. So if somebody has an issue or a problem, they raise a question which is basically almost identical to an incident for us. We treat them the same.
It's both. And technical support and customer support are both thrown into the same category here.
A metric-based alert would be an incident.
Yeah?
It could be, yes.
Yeah. And we also have different categories of incidents. If it's a P1, P2, P3, P4, so that the urgency on how fast you have to react to it, like all hands on deck. If something major would happen, then they have the war rooms called in, and everybody, not only our teams, but everything from network to the ICHP to the data banks, they get called into a P1, and it has to be fixed as soon as possible. So,
but if a node goes down, which is a metric, we don't really care because we have all the time to fix it. We got some redundancy in place. So a node goes down, we fix it, but it's still an incident.
But we get alerted for it.
But that would not be a P1 or P2. Other
times, our customers have questions, Most of the times, there are questions related to network traffic, firewall changes, resource capacity is one of the biggest issues that we're working on right now. And of course, if the codes are wrong, who solves it? We can help them, but we're not coders and we're not developers.
We will never be the owner of code of our consumers. We can help them, we can guide them, but if they tell us like our Marek Java application is doing something weird, we just look at them and say, okay, fine, solve it yourself. So we provide network as a service, of a namespace as a service.
Namespace as a service.
So we give them a namespace. The namespace will get an egress IP. It will have an ingress, and they have a quota, and they can do basically anything they want with their namespace. So it's their responsibility, but we like to help them because they're still our colleagues.
Yeah,
although
colleagues.
We call them consumers or customers, they're our colleagues.
Officially, they're customers, but they're actually, we got to go to have lunch with them most of the time, so you don't want to get pissed off. or other way around, sometimes you need their help to do something else to make sure it's fixed. So definitely. One of the things I was thinking about as Rob was talking is that a lot of the things that we have is we just point them to the documentations and read the money. You guys know the RTF? Okay. You know it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Been around enough. Good. Next question. What makes a good team? One thing?
That is an important one, yes.
Very important.
Honesty.
Yes.
Yes? Anyone else?
Communication.
Very good. All good. All good. There's
I think these are
no limits,
the top three.
but those are the top three. Yeah. I would throw in another one. You have to have fun. You have to enjoy working with your colleagues. If you don't do that, then you don't have trust. You don't have. You don't want to help them. So you got to have fun as well. It's got to be a little bit like a family. Sometimes you. Yeah, good.
Yeah, you see them more often than your own family. You spend
No.
the whole day with them.
My wife, I see a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, but you
than
see your
guys.
wife in the evening.
You don't know my wife. She calls
That's
me
why
already
you go
3
to the
times.
office. Now I understand why.
That's why Michael goes to the office most of the time. He's got twins. But yeah. So building a good support team. So how do we try, and I think we're doing a good job, but how do we build the trust and build the information and stuff like that? That's what we're here for. That was actually the reason I did the talk, is so that I could learn or help Rob. You know, he's the leader of the team, but I wanted to help him, help our team to become stronger and be better and offer better support. So that was my motivation of
Indeed, the
taking
most
this talk.
important thing is you need to trust each other, and you need to be always honest, and
Yeah.
never try to hide your mistakes. And you work as a team. So if somebody makes a mistake, the team makes a mistake.
Yeah.
And if you have celebrations, somebody did a really good job, the team did a great job. I think that's
Have a
really
party.
important for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are we doing to keep everybody a bit more happy? Well, we work together a lot. So we do a lot of pair programming, or even way beyond that. I think that's an important thing. You need to share your knowledge. So I didn't hear that one, sharing knowledge for a team.
You're right.
I think that's also, I think that's number,
But
well,
that's
it could be even in the top three.
That's the first point that we got up there, is working with your developers, your customers, if you want. Working with them, finding out what they need, teaching them and learning from them. What do they offer us and what can we share with them? Sharing the information, sharing the knowledge. It's not only within the team or the greater team in our aspect, but also pretty much everybody that you come in contact with is part of the ING team. And having a close contact with them, doing things like, what was that? We did the chaos...
The monkey testing.
What was it called?
The monkey testing. We did.
Monkey testing.
With,
Yeah.
with one of our consumers, we just introduced new zones, and we just basically killed a zone. And they were for the first time, they were really seeing what was happening to their applications when we killed a complete zone within one data center. And yeah, it was a bit of a surprise that it was not that good.
Yeah.
The engineers are
both
really top level. The engineers within ING are top level, but sometimes they make mistakes.
You don't know everything.
You can't know everything.
Can't know everything. Yeah. So, last point on the slide here was to work on bug fixes. If you get a bug, everybody gets bugs. Work on it as a team, and work on it. Don't hide. Don't just push it under the rug and hide it. Learn from it. Should we go on? Okay. Who cares about support teams? Why do they matter? I mean, they matter for me because they pay my bill. I work for a bank and I want to earn money. So if it has an impact on the business, and the business is not going to be able to pay me money, and then it's going to go out of. I want to make sure it's up and running and improves. I also want to have fun at work, and the conditions have to be fun and along those lines. Yeah. Plus,
nothing to say about this. This is basically just read it, and it's pretty clear.
What is expected from a support team? That's also a good question. And how does the team work? Any feedback? Any ideas?
Fast response time, quality.
Yeah. Solve my problem.
Does it need to be fast?
Within SLA.
That's correct. Within the SLA, sometimes the SLA is 6 days.
Yeah.
For example, if you have a question and it's on development, it has less priority. But for you, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because you want to continue working on it. So there's a really big gray area in between. Like, for you it's important, but we don't think it's that important. So do we give you less attention? We never should. Hmm? If he, for example, I'm sorry, I'm using your case. If you file an incident to us and we need to implement something, you want to be updated all the time. So we need to change. We can't do anything without a change. So if we need to have a change, we create a change, we inform you we have a change, and it's going to be executed on Tuesday. So please be patient. But at that point, you know that we are working on it. And that's also an important part, I think. That's my opinion.
Communication.
So communications.
Yeah.
And expect a low barrier for getting to like the support team. Like incidents, writing incidents can be a high barrier rather than having
I've experiences in both ways. That the incidences can be created easily because everybody knows how, most people know how to do it. It's not that easy, but I've also had other team members say, okay, I'm not going to help you unless there's an incident, and as a way of pushing them away. So we like to kind of balance it. I mean, if somebody gives a direct message to us and says, what's going on? Can you help me on this? We're not going to, unless it's something that needs a change or needs official information, we'll help them. But there are times where you have to go down the official lines and slow things down and also inform them and say, hey, it needs to go through this and that, or we know the problem is there, we have no solution, wait for the next update on our cluster and things along those lines. But I burn it down to what, for me, what a good team, or what a good support team is keeping the ideas of our customer in the foreground, in the front, and helping them along. And if there's an issue where we can't help them along, keep them informed about it. Well, I think I get most frustrated when I need customer support is when I've got a problem and I can't reach anybody, and I don't even know that it's being worked on, or I don't know what they're doing. So that's basically, for me, one of the key issues is keeping the contact alive and making sure that you can that they know what's going on, the communication.
Do you have automation for that?
Partially, sure. The ticketing system that we have, a lot of the tickets are generated automatically, the technical ones, basically. The technical ones are automatically generated. Other ones, I wouldn't say that unless, do we have automation in the not really, in the ticketing systems? And no automatic, maybe we would work on that. I've got an idea for that.
That's a nice idea. But
yeah.
how do you manage it? It's a complex thing.
One of the things automated is the SLAs and the SLOs for the ticketing systems. If the different priorities, those are set and they're automatic. They get escalated, and if we don't react or close them fast enough, then our manager gets automatically notified about that, and then he calls us in and do your job.
Well, they call me.
They call him. That's why he's lost his hair. What do you got here? Good. Everybody has to be informed and keep themselves up to date. So we know that, and we keep different ways of learning the systems and doing the systems and keeping things up to date. So the regular training, everybody, themselves train whatever they want, and if they want to get a certificate for something, that will support them. If they want to be trained officially, like I was never in that boat where I wanted to get certified by Red Hat or certified for this or that, because I've seen so many issues where even though they're certified, they don't even know what the fuck they're doing. But for us, having a team that supports one another and teaches one another and shares the information is very important. And we do show, comes later on with the, I think we're at 2 minutes. I don't know even how many slides we have left. We're going too slow?
We're going too slow.
I think we're going too slow.
We're talking too much. Like I said, unprepared.
Yeah. Would have been better if we'd prepared, but where's the fun in that? I think communication we've already talked about enough. I know one thing that I don't like is how many channels that you can have. I mean, is it email? Is it Mattermost? Is it Slack? Is it
Teams in our case?
Teams in our case.
That's such low-level communications. Yeah. People just open a chat and they ask you without even saying, hi, good morning. You will just pop up a question on your screen like, who's this guy? Who's this person I'm talking to?
How do you like it when they open a chat and then an incident was exactly the same thing? They got exactly the same problem.
They open an incident, can you please look at incident and then a number? Yeah. That's it. Nothing else.
Feedback we use a lot. We do go over the incidences and find out what problems are going on there. And we also internally with the different teams, with the developers and with the the ICHP team, the 6 teams that we were talking about there. We have a lot of feedback every day, actually. Way too many meetings, but the feedback is necessary, so. Good. Down to the fun part. The tools. You guys have any tools that you prefer to use for support teams, or you just want to jump into and see what we've got?
We recently upgraded to Tena, to Slack with Tena to get some AI help onto it, to auto-tag the stuff coming in and giving feedback directly.
Okay.
Well, this is something I also had to learn how cool this is.
Is that like an AI?
Yes,
Tena?
The company is Tena AI on the webpage, and
okay.
they have this B2B platform built up where you can connect from different sources, analyze the stuff, get the sentiment out of it, and
okay.
also feedback to inside Slack to the customer who's working on it. So that's really, really cool.
I haven't told my boss yet, but I want to integrate an AI. A little bit of
they are really scared of AI within a bank.
But yeah.
So it's basically off limits for now. They're still learning how to use it, but for us it's going to be a fully internal AI. We cannot use anything from the cloud.
Yeah.
For this we also built something with AWS. When we use Clary Copilot also for talks with the customers and so on, and then using the detection for sentiments and all this stuff, so getting more out of it. Is the person unhappy, what is going on? So you can run it then through the AWS stuff to get feedback on this and summarize also the talks and the calls better for following up and so on. So
Yeah, that's cool.
so you should really follow the AI stuff with local AI or something like this.
Yeah. Lightspeed? That's another one? Yeah. Can you just plug those into an air-gapped environment? Because as a bank, we could...
Not yet, but we're working on it.
Yeah?
We have some air-gapped requirements and some cards.
Maybe we'll do that in the near future, and I'm sure we'll do a proof of concept to find out which tool is the best. But that's the architecture and stuff. Yeah.
KCDs already worked also for an air-gapped environment, so I'm not sure if you can run this on your Openshift cluster, but normally
Yeah.
you should get also some.
Yeah, but like Rob said, we got to make sure that the money of our customers, I've got my money in there as well, so it doesn't want to get leaked out, the passwords or any of the secrets that are there. So it really has to be 100% on that. And everybody's excited about AI, but it has a little bit of a worry in there. But we got other tools. That's not the only. AI is one of the hot ones nowadays. Dull and boring. Monitoring. That's my specialty. If you don't know what's going on, how are you going to fix it? What do we else have? Resilience report. That's his baby.
So yeah, we did a shame and blame dashboard. We're not allowed to call it like that. It's the resilience dashboard. Basically, we scanned all namespaces, all 5,000 plus, and we graded them. So the higher score you got, the worse you were doing. So the fun fact is that managers from other departments were looking at those numbers, and they were having competitions internally for their own teams to have the least score. So that improved quite a lot. So people were even using replicas. So replicas is a massive score if you got that one. So if you don't run replicas, you get 500 points or whatever. And if you have 500 points, you'll be immediately on the top of the scores. But we also check health probes. Do you have redeployments every 30 days? Because we don't want to have CVEs in there. That's all being scanned before being deployed. Yeah. So this guy is doing pretty good, but it's fake. Nobody's that good.
I was just thinking we should have put one that's scored really great, and then the worst in the case or something like that.
So it has a dynamic scoring system, so we can easily add new features to it. So it just scans it. Everything is stored in the database, and we just run a calculation script on it, real time, and you will get a. One
of the other advantages that this tool has is that we have a better idea of where our customers are and because over 40 different clusters. Somebody spins it up on one cluster, have they done it on the other cluster, or on the pairs that they're running in? And then you can use that tool in the data bank, what's in there, to get the idea as well. What else have? Networking tool is one of the tools. You going to take off?
Have a nice flight.
That's what happens when you're the last talk and the whole thing. For us, it's easy. We got a nice crowd here, but we expected that.
So you got your network observability and that sort of stuff. It's all, but we do this cross clusters. These clusters are completely separated. They have no knowledge of each other. So we want to check if the network connections are working as expected between two data centers. So it's a bit different than an internal scan. It's basically we scan all the routes that are possible, including pods running on different network zones within a cluster. We needed this one just to prove that it was networking and not us.
Yeah. It's probably the largest culprit of incidences and the hardest one to solve. What do we have here? These are the different ideas that we came up with to keep things fun and move on with the support. And the networking tool is one of them. Anybody have an idea what a John Wick session would be? You know who John Wick is, right? No?
You're not seen the movie with
Keanu Reeves, and he just kills everybody that pisses him off? No. We do something similar about that, but we don't kill anybody in our sessions. What we do is we get together for about an hour and a half on Mondays when Rob's not there, and we take all of the incidences that are in our queue, and we try and solve those incidences in our group. And if it's a no-brainer, it gets killed. But if it's really complicated, then we bring in the first line support, or the second, it would be the second and third line supports, and then they help us go on, or we pass it on to them. So that's pretty much what a John Wick session is. We already mentioned...
We're out of time.
We're out of time? Do we have to quit? Or do you guys want us to keep on? Keep going? Huh? Tech team, can we keep on going? We only got 4 or 5 slides. Keep? All right. Good. We already talked about the networking tool, John Wick sessions, blue-green chaosing. Did we do that enough? We mentioned it.
We mentioned it. It was fun because you can see the reactions of the consumers finally when things really go wrong.
I also got a lot of input from how the customers see our things, and then we also improved the tooling on how to do the implementation of the zones and stuff like that. So we improved our tools.
So we also did, for example, we looked at the deployments, and basically we made an extra deployment for them, like how we should have done it. And we documented everything. And for example, the whole anti-infinity rules is really difficult to understand sometimes. And especially when you run 4 pods or more, and you have 2 zones, you never know where your pods is gonna be running. And with anti-infinity, that's really difficult to properly do it. So we are educating our consumers, trying to make them aware of things.
We got to do that for more of our customers. With 1,500 teams that are working on there, we only did it with one of the biggest ones, one of the ones that knows Rob the best. So
we're gonna do internal presentations about it.
Yeah. So the last one on here is the mini hackathon. I'm sure everybody's heard about hackathons, where you go for 2 days and order pizza and overnight and figure out the problem. We can't really afford to close ourselves off for 2 or 3 days. So what we do is every second week, we pick a topic, and then the team tries to fix that topic. A mini hackathon for about an hour or 2 hours. Sometimes we bring in other teams or other people's, other engineers in our team that have more knowledge about that.
Even customers of our team.
Customers, they've been brought in, and so we do mini hackathons. So, and if anybody's got an idea, wants to learn something, and we want to do a little bit more knowledge about it, then we do it.
So again, the combined force of a team is massive. A single person doesn't know everything, and knows a lot. Yeah. But combined, you know everything. So that's really the power of a team.
But there's also a lot of things that within the team, there are different knowledge levels of different topics. So that's also a good way of sharing within the team. If you've got a knowledge about, I know Prometheus and Grafana a lot better than most of the other people in the team. So I can teach them how to create a graph or how to bring the metrics in within, whereas I'm not as strong on a lot of things in the cluster, on the containers or the pipelines that we do use. So other people teach me that. So it's a great way of sharing the information. Fortunately, we don't have a lot of time that we can always do those type of things because we're trying to fix the problems for our customers. So what do we got left? This is one of the last slides. Have we missed anything? Anybody with ideas that, a couple of ideas already from the audience about the IIs? Any ideas from anybody else that we missed, that you're missing here? Beer?
He's got a beer.
I've got a beer, but I got to open it. Good idea. You take over your work.
So beer is a good one.
Beer is a good one.
Are you guys acting NPS?
Please explain a bit more. What?
If you close an incident, you ask the customer, is he satisfied with your solution?
Feedback.
Time of response.
We don't get that much feedback. It's not implemented. They will reopen it if they're not happy, or they will contact me, which sometimes happens, and I need to be really polite. But feedback is a difficult thing. If you do something wrong, they will complain. It's like the internet. If you make a mistake, you will get 1 star. But if you do a pretty good job, you won't get 4 stars because it's your job. So the feedback it's a difficult thing. We close 700 incidents per quarter, so per 3 months. So that's 200 a month or whatever. So it's 50 a week. So that's a lot of feedback. I would love to have feedback, but I think that's a good one. So that's basically the second question.
How about, I was kind of curious. Oh, yeah.
Do you have an opinion on whether it is better to have a separate support team, as it seems in your case? At Mercedes-Benz, we have like also this community approach. It's a MetaMost channel or Slack channel, Teams channel, whatever,
Yeah.
where we have 1,500 users or developers, customers
Yeah.
that request help from our platform team.
Sure.
And I mean, the community is not really working, right? Nobody is answering except for the platform engineers.
I think you're wrong about that one. We have a community, and I think it's really alive. So we are migrating currently from one version to the other version, and that it's a Teams channel. We also use MetaMost, but the Teams channel is really active, like almost 60 or 70 people communicating to each other. And we are not even officially involved in that one. So the MetaMost channel itself, that's towards us. We use MetaMost as communication channel. A lot of our consumers help each other. I think we got on MetaMost, I think there are 900 members, and I think at least 50 of them are really active.
Is any special tooling integrated into MetaMost, connecting threads with incidents, vice versa?
No. No. It's another one of those integrated systems. It's like, how do you get the one system to talk to the other one? So it's not. It wouldn't be that easy to do, but it's a good idea to look into. You got to. Yeah, that would be us. We're the first level support.
Well, there is a level on top of it, and basically they route everything to us. If they see the word Openshift or container, they push it to us.
We don't do all the support for everybody in the bank, just for somebody that has problems with the containers or the Openshift.
There are some magic words if it contains ICHP container or Kubernetes or Docker, it's pushed to us immediately.
Yeah.
Easy problems first go to you. And you have no external team, or so you do that with internal employees, first level support?
Yeah. So we are educating now the what we call the IPC first line, the guys who push it to us, and we tell them where the documentation is. So I think they are catching now. They are catching now about 10 to 15% of the incidents. They reply with them like, these are the docs. Please look at them first.
Should we invite them to a mini hackathon or something, or just to get to know them and get some feedback? Just to find out.
I talk to them every 2 weeks.
Yeah, but we don't. Okay, you make your decision. If you think that's enough that you talk to them, then
I think they need to learn.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
It's a giving and taking. So we were quite upset with them that they pushed everything to us. And they came to us like, how can we help you? And so yes, there's a first line support. We shouldn't do first line. They also want to do 1.5 line, whatever that is. And they want to push the second line only to us. But 90% of our incidents is second line.
Yeah, invite them for just get to know. 'Cause, yeah, but whatever.
Well, we have the same setup like CS what you do, and we have external support, and it's really hard to get skilled people that can support the Kubernetes issues from the
Yeah.
supplier, and now it's really very dissatisfying for everyone, I would say.
It's hard.
Also
It's
for
really
the person who's solving an incident, like, come on, this is simple. This is documentation work. Just request a firewall rule. And
Yeah.
Do you get many like frequently asked questions, like always the same questions where you are normal?
Sometimes,
and
yeah.
you write a FAQ page and you don't.
we have an we got
have
a
an
frequently asked
FAQ.
question page, and
We struggle with how do you get the developers to actually read it instead of
Read the fucking manual. No, a lot of times it is okay. Here is the solution. Here we posted it in our documentation. Just read that. That should get you through it. So we do a lot of things. It's just pointing them to the documentation, or pointing them to the person that can help them better. But it's I don't know if we have too many of our customers that ask stupid questions. There are people that are not educated enough, and they need that, or they don't understand the problems, and so that we have to hold their hands.
for some
and
it's
stuff like
difficult because they come from a VM environment, and they are being pushed with the APIs to
They have no choice. Yeah.
to a container platform, and that's difficult for them. They still treat the container as a VM. So basically, you got a full Linux image with everything in it, and they say, yeah, that's our application.
Or Spain. We just onboarded all of Spain to the ICHP, and their infrastructure. We said, you're going to have problems here because of your design. You're going to have problems, and then I think one of the questions that just came up is, how do we fix it? I'm like, that's one of the problems that we told you we're going to have. So how do you fix a problem like that?
I think that's probably the end. So
This was the last slide.
yeah,
Anybody can do
so
a
it's
jump
really a
like
slogan
that.
from ING: do your thing, and I think we are doing our thing.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing. That's it.
Oh, we
I
lost
think
half
we
of the
already had
audience.
questions because we asked our questions.
I learned something. That was why I came.
Thank you.
Thank you.